Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to be talking about the Chariot Tarot card. And the deck that I'm going to be using is the Melanated Classic Tarot. If you're interested in this deck, I've done a video about this tarot card deck, so if you're interested, check it out. It's a beautiful deck. Alright, now this card is very interesting. I'm going to give you my take on the card. It might be a little bit different than the standard Rider-Waite interpretation of the card. So this is just my take on it. First of all, you have a guy here who's in a chariot, and he's not controlling the two sphinxes here with a rope, because you don't control a sphinx with a rope. Number one, this is symbolic. This is spiritual symbolism. So he's basically using his mind and his will and his intellect, and he's using his intuition to guide him. So this is a little bit different than just some guy with two horses and one going this way and one's going the other way. That's happening here in a way, but it's with two sphinxes, and the sphinx here represents the higher mind or the intellect, or even the more intuitive mind that has control over your animal nature. Now, if you also look, he's in between two kingdoms, and these two kingdoms represents two big decisions that he has to make. Now, if that was coming up in the tarot reading, that's what I would tell my client, that basically you need to make a decision, and it's an important decision, and it can affect a lot of people. So, hence the two kingdoms here, which represents two big decisions that he'll be making. Now, if you also look, there's a winged disc right there, and the winged disc means victory. So whatever he chooses, he wants to be victorious in the choice that he makes. Now, the interesting thing here is on the Rider-Waite deck, this looks like a pole with going through a circle. And I can see the symbolism there. To me, that would represent the pole star, because it's pointing up to a star right here. And if you go up here, he has I believe a 7-pointed star on his crown here, which represents chakras, if you look at it that way too. Now, it's interesting in this tarot deck because it doesn't necessarily look like a pole going through a circle. It could also mean a cross. Not necessarily a Christian cross, but if you look closely here, the cross looks like it's more wooden, and the this part here looks like there's like a red ribbon that's draped on the cross. So it's very interesting symbolism. At least that's what I get from this this particular tarot card. So it represents the crossroads. It represents decision making and decisions that you have to make at the crossroads. Also here, on both shoulders, you can see crescent moons, which represents the more intuitive approach to decision making. And the two moons are, of course, on both sides of the head here, which represents the intellect. So this is a very deep card when you look at it that way. I don't want to say it's two opposing forces, the Sphinx. It's just two ways of looking at something. And basically it represents weighing your options. What happens if I do this, or what happens if I do that. So that's my take on what's happening with the symbolism here. And I would also say that the Sphinx in this tarot deck represents the intuitive and the mental, the mind, in making a decision. Interesting deck. Also, if you notice here, he's contemplating and he's draped with stars. So even though if you look at this, it looks like a bright, shiny day, you still have the night draped in the back. And the night represents the more intuitive mind. It represents darkness, represents the moon also. So you kind of have that duality happening here. Interesting tarot deck. Like I said, he's not controlling the two Sphinx with a rope. He's controlling it with his mind and his emotions. And the decision that he's going to be making will be in between two different options. And he's going to choose, hopefully, the middle way. All right, so that's my interpretation of the Chariot here. If you're interested in some of my other interpretations of the melanated tarot deck, just kind of thumb through the videos and you'll see what I think about this deck, which is a beautiful deck, and you will see my take on the different cards within this deck. All right, until next time, love is the law and peace. Uncle Jasanev.